I have a new weight loss drug to promote, so great.
Do you really?
No. Are you crazy?
That dulcet tone, are we recording? Yeah, it's the Endless Honeymoon podcast. And just out of context, we're going to end the podcast right there.
Yeah.
It's Jameela Jamil. Here to promote Ozempic culture here in Los Angeles. Is that right? That was what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
wait, Jameela, so I wanted to get you a mint tea, and I was like, I bet she doesn't want green in it. Is that right?
We had a struggle upstairs.
Yeah. I'm too old for caffeine.
Any caffeine?
I can have a quarter caff in the morning, which is not a real drink, and I'm not proud of it. But
What's
sometimes you just
calf?
have to embrace your age.
Do you pour, what is
a
that?
Quarter calf, so like a half calf is single shot of espresso, single shot of decaf espresso.
Yeah.
A quarter calf is the even more cowardly version of that, where you then slice that half calf. So it's half of a half calf.
But how do you slice it?
But you get some espresso in there?
I make my own coffee in my own coffee machine, and I just stop it at halfway. But when I go out for coffee, which is what I mostly do, I'm too embarrassed, obviously, to even ask for a half calf. I'm English, like this is pathetic.
Yeah.
And so I ask for a decaf, and then I ask for a separate espresso, and then just pour a quarter of the espresso in my decaf. And they watch me do it, even though I try to turn my back and do it secretly. But it is like, I think, genuinely one of my great shames.
You should find another annoying person to bring to the coffee shop with you so that you don't have to have any waste.
Yes,
so you can do
but then I would have to spend time with that annoying person. So I think
Moshe has a pretty complicated order everywhere we go.
That
except
is true.
Not coffee.
I don't have a
lot. Are you high maintenance?
I'm high maintenance with food. With coffee, it's just black coffee.
Okay.
Like he's never been like, I'll have the salmon.
Okay.
I have a...
Okay, your glasses are so dirty, it's actually upsetting me.
Wait,
Can
they're
you?
dirty?
Yeah, just this lens on this side. I can't. It looks like it's covered in jizz. I can't.
Well...
I'm sorry.
Wait,
are those our jizz glasses?
It's the other lens. It's the other lens.
I had just cleaned them, but also I was painting while I was doing it.
Natasha's running like a sweatshop out
painting
of our
with
dining room.
jizz, yeah.
Well, I call it painting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a sort of Pollock-esque situation.
Okay, there we go. No, this is lovely. I can see now both of your eyes.
But earlier you could see through all of the children of ours that could have been. The upstairs of our dining room literally looks like an artist's sweatshop because Natasha and our child have been creating content on paper for our Patreon members who get artwork from Natasha and our little child, and it doesn't look.
Moshe's like, when is the house going to stop looking like a preschool? Because it was very hard for me to finish, so it's been pretty crazy up there.
But with the money from this, you could just buy another house.
That's right.
So that's fine.
It's not about that. It's about, fulfilling some artistic...
On a Patreon?
And screaming at our child.
Well, no, I'm saying I like to paint.
Oh, right.
And Moshe likes to DJ.
Right.
So he gets to go upstairs and do his DJ stuff, and I get to...
Do you DJ for Natasha?
I DJ for the Patreon.
Okay, so you DJ... Okay, fine. So it's for the people.
No,
I once DJ'd for one person.
Who was the person?
It was Hugh Grant.
Really?
He paid you?
You could have given me 1,000 guesses, and Hugh Grant never...
I know, it's one of my strangest stories.
Wait, can you tell us any more?
Yeah, of course. He didn't hire me to DJ naked in his house, don't worry.
That does seem like something he would have done. based upon his...
and I would have said yes.
Yeah. That's an offer you say yes to.
It was a golf course, and it was some sort of whiskey or bourbon party, and they hired me to DJ, and it was a sort of celebrity tournament, but the only person who was there for the morning round was Hugh Grant, so I obviously said yes because I love him so much, and I was there in the middle of this giant golf course, all dressed up, alone, DJing for Hugh Grant, who only just got further and further and further away from me and just became a small dot by the end of my DJ set.
He was backing away from you?
He was probably playing golf better to get away from my DJing. But
and what do you think? What was the best moment of your DJ? What do you remember a song that you were playing? So I can kind of catch the vibe.
God, I played 90s R&B, which I don't think is his thing.
No, he likes Oompa Loompa songs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sort of more his focus.
But yeah, that was my strangest. No, actually, not my strangest DJ set.
All right.
What was your strangest DJ set?
I have a strangest DJ set. When I was a rave DJ in the 90s, my best friend who I grew up with, he moved to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and he told me that he was throwing parties in Juarez, Mexico, which if you don't know Juarez, Mexico, it is the center of of the border towns. It's the most dangerous and cartel run of the border towns in Mexico. But he's like
slaying femicide, I heard.
That's right. Yeah. No, they slay. They are Bay. Cartel is Bay. And he's like, I'm throwing this party. You should come down. So he flies me to. I was very excited because I never got flown out of San Francisco to play parties. He flies me to Las Cruces, New Mexico. We drive across the border. I start to realize that since he's moved to New Mexico, he's become a cocaine addict and a cocaine dealer on some level. Like he's there's some deep sketch going on. We get to this party in Juarez, and I realize it's a border bar. Have you been to Tijuana?
I haven't.
Tijuana's very fun and
Moshe's
cool.
always pitching it for like a family vacation. He's like, it's so easy. We can get in the RV. And
Spring
I'm like,
break.
no, it's literally, I have to talk him out of this.
Tijuana is a border city, but it's cool and has a fun party situation. You've never been.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like a good place
It's a perfect
20-year-old to drive a 20-year-old RV with a 6-year-old.
It's a perfect place for children. Tijuana is for children. That's their motto. But Juarez is not that. There's no parties. I mean, there's bars, but it's sketchy. So we get there. I start to DJ like I think I was like playing like drum and bass at this like border spring break bar, but without the class. I turn around to get another record, and when I come back up, a DJ with one ear, some man from Juarez.
As in Van Gogh missing.
He was
gone.
very Van Gogh-esque.
Was he born without the ear, or had the ear been removed because he was a naughty boy?
I didn't ask for a number of reasons.
Right, okay.
My Spanish is weak, and I generally didn't go up to people in cartel towns and say, "How did you lose that body part?" So he just started taking over, and it was like,
You're set?
Like, yeah,
He was just like, move over, boy.
I just turned around, and the man with one ear was now DJing on the, and what I thought was that I was being flown to Mexico to play at a warehouse party. What I realized is I was at like a horrifying border town spring break bar, and a man with one ear was now beginning to DJ for me.
I just thought of something, Moshe. You're not going to like this.
What's that?
Maybe he was the spokesperson for the group who were like, get that. We got to change the music.
Oh, you mean rather than make a request, they just sent a man with one ear to take over?
Even a half-deaf man was like, I can't listen to this anymore. I actually, one of the craziest stories I've ever heard about a performer in Mexico. I don't think I've ever spoken about this publicly. It's not my story. It's someone else's, and I've never been allowed to know which famous rapper this is.
Okay.
But basically, a famous rapper who had like one massive hit song was offered a gig for $1 million in Mexico to play for someone who I think was working within the cartel.
Yeah.
And so he gets flown over, and he's like, right, it's easy money. I just have to play this one gig, and then I'm going to go. So he goes over. It's in this guy's house. All of his children are there. His wife is there. It's just like, it's 7 people, maybe.
Hugh Grant, of course,
Yeah.
is there. Yeah.
They put on like a sort of boom box and have like a sort of karaoke setup, and he realizes, oh my god, this is the gig. I'm going to be playing for 7 people in a lit up daylight living room situation. So he plays his big song, and everyone's really happy, and the kids are really happy, and then the guy says, play it again. And he's like, I've got other songs. He's like, play your hit again. So he plays it again. He's not going to argue. And he's like, play it again. Play it again. Play it again. Play it again.
It makes
He ends
sense.
up playing it 17 times in a row. It gets so much worse. And then he is like, after a while, I think the kids are now like really traumatized by how many times they've heard this song in a row. Like they're now over it.
Yeah.
Like they were really into it, and then at some point, children just like very quickly go off something and you can't see it coming. They're just like, again, more, and then bleh.
But El Jefe is in the back like, this is the greatest day of my
once
life.
the kids are over it, he's like, okay, you can leave. So he gives him a giant bag of cash. It's $1 million cash, and sends him on his way. And he has a driver who takes him back to the airport. And then just before he gets to the airport, a gun is held on him by the driver, and he has to give them a bag of money back, and then just gets sent on the plane home. So, I mean, he didn't die. Nothing bad happened to him other than, like a bit of theft. $1 million was a bit much for playing the same song 17 times anyway. I think he was just relieved to be alive, but
probably a humiliating experience.
What a derogatory experience to play your one song 17 times for children and then not even have anything to show for it.
And then get robbed, because that's also scary.
What do you think what happened there? Did was the whole thing a setup, or did
I think the whole thing was a setup. I think this probably, happens in lots of different countries where they ship celebrities over. I think we just don't hear about it because it feels embarrassing for the celebrity. I don't think it's just a Mexican
a
kind of
rapper.
thing. Yeah.
I mean, if it was you
Yeah.
and you got hired to do a DJ set, you'd
Yeah.
probably talk about it. But if you're a rapper who trucks in being tough,
Of course.
And also, would you talk about it? I
No,
wouldn't want
I
to be a
wouldn't fucking
target.
talk about
Who
it.
wants to like
I'm not
be a
afraid.
target?
I'm
the
not
one
afraid
eared
of the
DJ
cartel.
spoke about it, clearly.
That's
So
right.
I-
That's how he lost his ear. So I come downstairs. I pack up my stuff immediately. I go, this isn't what I thought it was.
Oh my God.
And I come downstairs, and I'm 17.
Okay.
And I come down to the bar, and my friend is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I have I'm 17, so I don't like have a passport or anything. I'm just some kid with a really heavy bag of vinyl. And my friend's gone.
Yeah.
There's a one-eared DJ that's now really turning the party out. People are finally having a good time. And I wander to the border, and I don't know how I'm going to get home. Because Las Cruces, which is where I flew into, is 2 hours away, I think, or an hour away from Juarez. So I'm about to go approach a border guard and just say, help, I'm a lost American. Can you please get me back to the United States? I passed
A lost American who definitely looks like a drug mule. Yeah.
That is kind of his look, huh? Especially when he was young.
No, I get to
He
the-
had the gauge earrings
Sure,
and
sure,
like
sure.
white, spiked bangs.
You can picture it. I
Big
get,
pants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I get to the border.
That is coke all the way up your asshole.
I say to the border guard, I was playing drum and bass, and he says, play it again, play it again, play it again. I finally get past the border, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm in El Paso, Texas now. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm abandoned. And all of a sudden, my best friend who I grew up with, I see his VW Vanagon screaming. It's like a 2-lane road, and he screams around the corner right
Does
at
he
the border.
screech around
like
the
it
corner?
screech. Yeah, the tires are like, "Arr," and he.
I've just never heard screaming used for that.
Well,
I was
welcome
just-
to America,
okay,
lady.
there we
I'm
go.
using more alliterative, more sort of fun.
I was
language.
imagining him with a high pitch.
It sort of is like that because he gets around the corner.
Moshe's like the Hemingway of podcasters. He likes to use clear and simple language, but he'll throw in some of those visceral
Great, great,
words.
That's right.
Great.
There was a van coming towards me. It was, and so he pulls around. He slides the Vanagon door open. You know that can you picture it? It's like one of these van doors that open sideways, and he screams, "Jump in!" He doesn't stop. He screams, "Jump in!" And I throw my records in, and I dive into this Vanagon, and we pull away, and he goes, "Sorry about that. I had to pistol whip a motherfucker and had to get out of there." And we drove for about an hour in silence, and then I pulled him over in the desert in New Mexico, and I was like, I don't know why I said this. I hate when people say don't do that again on a situation that could never be replicated, but I said, don't you ever fucking do that to me again. He was like, you're right, my bad. So that
How
is my
about we don't hang out anymore? And this is where you're proposing we go for a family vacation.
No, this is Juarez. It's a totally different border
Yeah,
town.
very
Okay.
different vibe. My weirdest one, I think, still, I used to play something called the Young Farmers Ball, where I would DJ for sort of like 6,000 to 10,000 farmers
What?
because they
What?
were.
Wait, so you're like a legit DJ?
I was a legit DJ.
Moshe, are you like in awe right now? Moshe's
No.
obsessed with
I'm
his.
upset. I think of my Juarez story is pretty legit.
It's
No,
very
it-
legit.
Thank you.
She just
Very
said
legit.
she
I
performed.
never pistol whipped a motherfucker.
I didn't
You know,
either. I didn't either. He did.
She DJs for 30,000 hot farmers.
Farmers.
No. Well, I would say some of them were very hot, but they don't really get weekends, because they're at the farmers market. They're working their asses
Sure.
off, getting everything ready.
What's the
And
smell
so-
like at a farmer's convention? It's got to be.
It's wonderful.
Hay
gotta
and
be
cologne.
strong.
No, it's wonderful. It smells like New Year's Eve because it's like this is their big night out. So about 4 or 5 times a year, there's a big young farmers ball, and they get to like come and blow off all the steam that they don't get to do normally, like everyone else on the weekends because they're working. And there's a different theme all the time. And so one time I think it was like a sex ball, so
Sure.
everyone was in their underwear and everyone's like fingering against the wall,
melon.
and I'm DJing for that. Yeah,
90s R&B for that one? Or?
No. I'm keeping the tempo up so that we
Oh,
can
okay.
keep the rhythm going so the women can come.
Yeah.
And then I, sorry, I did a backhand fingering. That was really weird.
Good technique. Honestly, a great technique.
The Nadal, I call it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that Nadal fingered me, just to be clear. It's because he's got a really good backhand. Anyway, moving on. I've never met him. But where was I going? Yes. Okay. So
farmers.
another one was a Where's Waldo event. So
Oh,
everyone's
boy.
dressed identically, and
Oh.
all you can see, I was fucking screaming with laughter the whole time because all you can see is a bunch of lost Waldos who can't find their friends because everyone's dressed identically. So it's drunk, lost Waldos.
Lots of
just
scarves.
stumbling around.
Wait, you got asked to do this multiple times.
I loved it.
Every year you
It's
were
the
the person.
most fun gig you can play. They are the most fun audience. They're so up for it.
Sounds more fun than acting, to be honest.
It's so ridiculously fun. And so I really miss it. I miss it a lot.
You missed
Why'd you
the
stop?
farmers.
I stopped because I came to America and I was like, no one knows me here. And then starting again in my 30s when I'm now known as an actress felt a bit random. But who knows?
So you spent your 20s kind of as a
I was a
professional
DJ.
DJ.
Yeah, and
Do you-
that's how I met James. We were both DJs.
Your
My
partner,
boyfriend, yes.
and you guys have been together a long time.
Almost 10 years.
I got a question about James' music.
Okay.
Wait, can I ask her for something first?
No,
You've done loads of talking. Go on.
That's what I'm always telling him.
that's great. This is good content for the podcast.
Sorry.
No, it's going to get clipped. It's fine.
So, first of all, I want to know, does he ever sing to you?
Does he ever sing to me? No, he sings around the house, but it's not like a one-on-one situation. The one time
not a
he
Hugh
did,
Grant.
no, exactly, no. The one time he sang a song for me was for our first ever Christmas, where he hadn't gotten me a present, and I'd drawn him a picture of himself. I'd drawn him a little portrait because sometimes I draw, and I gave it to him, and then he panicked and was like, I also have an artistic gift for you. And we'd only been dating maybe 4 weeks. It wasn't a big deal. He played me one of my favorite songs he's a proper genius. Like he can remember
I love him.
something.
We saw him at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery like 15 years ago, and it was amazing.
So he can learn a song within 2 minutes, I think.
Wow.
He can just hear it once and then play it perfectly. It's really scary. And so he made a recording of my favorite song, Vincent, by Don McLean. And then released it later that year, which somewhat
Who's this gift for?
but didn't not cheapen the experience. That was
maybe-
my first ever Christmas gift from James. Is now a gift for the entire world, and it's one of his most requested songs at his gigs.
No, I could see it though. I could see it because he's playing it for you, and you're like being emotionally touched
and he's
by
like,
it.
Jesus, this is good.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. He's like, there's something to this.
He was
Look
still
at my partner's
inspired.
really moved by this.
He was inspired by you.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
10 years, that might even
Give
be...
me a cut of the record.
Yeah.
That's a Christmas present.
or at least take you to
It's
the
a lot-
Greek islands or something,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah, he's like, honey, we're going to amortize this Christmas present over the course of our entire relationship through, car payments, through groceries.
Mad.
And
Mad
what
times.
do you find the secret to keeping, what's do you feel like, because people are going to call in and they're going to have questions. Like, do you have
Separate
any...
bathrooms.
Smart.
Pivotal.
See, Moshe
Imperative.
will leave his stuff in my bathroom, though.
Crazy.
I don't use your bathroom.
But your shoes are in there and your pants. And
That is
your-
so funny. Some young person calls and is like, what's the secret to a long-lasting love? You're like, it's got to be 2 bathrooms in your house. So like, I work at Walmart looking
I know.
at receipts.
Did I say I would come here and be relatable? No. That was not asked of me.
That's
all
not-
right? That has to be written in a disclaimer before I come here.
It's not fair to you. I think a lot of people have DJ'd for a farmer's ball.
Exactly. Everyone has DJ'd for Hugh Grant.
No, wait. What kind of music did you like playing? I'm curious about.
I played everything. Like it depended on the gig. I'm a real like crowd pleaser. Like
Yeah,
I have
got it.
I have no integrity. Like I'll play anything you tell me to, basically. So I was just a DJ for hire. If you wanted Ibiza chill, I gave you Ibiza chill. If you wanted hip hop, I gave you hip hop. If you were fingering, I would give you EDM. I that was it.
If you were
I was
fingering,
just-
you'd give the
Yeah,
Nadal.
I also have a very broad taste in music. You said what about fingering?
Nadal. I was doing your
Oh,
joke.
sure. The backhand.
I was giving you a little-
exactly. Thank you. A little callback.
Yeah, a little backhand callback.
Thank you.
Did you ever play James's music?
Oh, before you met
No,
him. That's a
no.
good question, Natasha.
I didn't.
I can imagine it not exactly being on a DJ
I
set.
didn't get his music at first because I only saw it like in fragmented bits, and I was like, this is very complicated and complex and artistic, and I'm really just too basic. And then after a while living with him and then starting to delve into it, I was like, no, this is mastery. He's very good.
And
The other thing I was going to say about if we want a relatable answer for a relationship is and I think you two have this, is the ability to be able to make each other laugh. It is the ultimate salve. And if you are I could never date anyone who didn't have a sense of humor.
Oh, I know.
Because it's the only way I can get out of trouble is to, and also like having a good resolution underline. And what I mean by that is when, it's very difficult to know how to end an argument. When you've both said your thing, your cortisol levels are still really, really high. And even though you've intellectually settled it, your body still feels like you're in a fight and you don't know how to break that ice.
Fuck.
It's really hard. No.
Yeah.
I know, but sometimes it's 11
I know,
a.m. and
I
you have
know.
to go to work.
And you're angry. You're not in fuck zone.
Exactly. You're not in fuck zone. I'm not an angry fucker.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. We all know that about you. You didn't need to say that.
Exactly,
It's known. It is known.
I'm a funny fucker.
Yeah.
I will jump him the second he says something hilarious. But what we do is we've created a little dance that we do towards each other.
I love it.
It's
like to resolve a conflict.
Yeah,
A physical
it's like
dance?
it's somewhere between the dirty dance moment. Obviously, I do not jump into his arms because I'm 5'10" and I weigh 150 pounds. Like that, he'd
She
die.
jumps into my arms constantly.
I know.
She's
But
so small, it's
teeny
perfect.
tiny
Yes, it's
little
lovely.
Polly Pocket. But I can't do that because he'd die. But we do a sort of it's somewhere between a cha cha cha. I'm so sorry, James. I shouldn't be telling everyone this because everyone thinks you're really cool. But it's a sort of
Yeah. Oh, it's
towards each other. It's a slow creep.
It's Uma
towards
Thurman,
each
John
other.
Travolta, Pulp
yeah,
Fiction.
and then we end in a big hug, and that's how we know that okay, now we're good.
And does
'Cause if
one
you don't
person
have-
start it?
Yeah,
Because what if you're really mad?
Oh, has it ever
Whoever,
been rejected? It must have been.
it's I
Don't
think
fucking
maybe
cha-cha-cha.
maybe one time, but I don't know. It's normally when everything's been resolved
It's
and you're
settled.
both like, it's fair. But now your body just doesn't know how to.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we tell our bodies the fight has ended. The
We
war
need
is
a resolution
over.
dance.
Well,
You
that's-
need a resolution dance. It's honestly like it can be like a chest bump. It could be anything. But ours is a cha-cha-cha shuffle towards each other that gets faster and faster as we get closer. And then a huge cuddle.
Aww,
And
that
then we're
is
good.
so sweet.
But what you're talking about is like we're reading about that right now. These are offerings that people in couples make to one another. And it literally is, and it can be just a joke. It's not always a physical dance, but it can be just a joke. Like, will you take this joke and laugh, and then we can say we're no longer angry at each other?
Yeah.
Will you take this dance?
Yeah, because otherwise the shit just goes on for days or
Right.
weeks, and it's not your body's fault. Like your body is having a somatic reaction to the argument, so you've got to like give it some sort of a signal that you're safe now. And I think a little cuddle with a bit of oxytocin really does that.
That's nice.
If you don't have time to shag.
Natasha will pistol whip me sometimes. It's just
Cool,
I
cool,
just
cool.
pista whip the motherfucker.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what that means.
I think it means
Means
you
you
hit
just
the,
whip it out?
No, you hit the person with the pistol.
With the gun,
Yeah.
instead of shooting them, it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
better.
It is better. It is better. It's a
Still
classic.
very painful, I hear.
Yeah, nobody wants
Yeah,
it.
no.
But you want it more than
bullet.
having your ear cut off, being shot, or having to play from the windows to the wall 17 times.
That was not the song.
No,
though,
he
just
had
Till
more
for
than
the
sweat
one
drips
hit.
down your balls.
He
Yeah.
had more than one hit. Do you miss DJing?
I do miss DJing.
Why don't you do it? You have a profile now, and you could definitely get gigs.
I don't know if anyone would want me now.
Stop
It's been
it.
so long.
Stop it. Of course, you could get DJ gigs. Of course.
Can I come and DJ on your Patreon?
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, what you think? You think a childlike drawing is a bonus, and
It's
you
not
doing
childlike. They're good.
She's 6.
I know, but I help her.
Yeah, that's true. Natasha's in there truly like she's running a sweatshop.
I like that I draw and I DJ. Like, I feel like I have something for both of you.
Yeah.
What do you mean you have something?
She's our
I
friend
mean, I
in
should
both
join the
directions.
relationship. Clearly, that's what I'm
you
saying.
like to draw too.
Yeah.
What was your major in college?
I didn't go to college.
Well, you're so
What?
smart.
No, I'm just British.
I know. I was
I sound smart. That's very different.
no.
No, I left school at just before my 17th birthday and never read ever again.
So how'd you get so knowledgeable?
I told you, it's just the accent.
It's not though. British people.
I don't know shit
British people don't just sound
about
smarter than
fuck.
us. They are
we do.
smarter.
I'm sorry.
Well,
we
she
do.
does have
no,
like
no,
a
we do.
I
RP.
said
You have
just-
you have a good accent though. You
I
have
have
like
a
the
good
received
accent.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
Like high level accent. Like you could like be on the BBC. Like
I was
delivering-
on the BBC. No,
See?
literally. That
She's
was my
right.
They
job.
all have this accent.
That's why I speak like this. It's because I was on the BBC.
So you went to
before I
like a
became an
private
actor.
school.
I went to a private secondary school. I was on a scholarship, so I had to refine my accent to sound more like the other girls at the school. And now I'm stuck like this forever,
Oh, does your family
sounding
not
like
sound
a
like
sounding
this?
like a butler.
What?
No, my family sound like whoever they're talking to in the moment. So
Oh,
it can either be like this, or
Uh-huh.
it could be like this, or it could.
That's some
it's
hard
like
code
it's
switching.
really extraordinary. Like watching them take multiple calls was unbelievable. Both my parents had completely mirrored whoever they were talking
That
to.
is very
So
funny.
they would go in and out of every accent.
And this is in London. Mm-hmm. Moshe, we could get jobs in England. Send our daughter to one of these schools, and she would talk like Jameela.
Why don't we just?
I I love the American accent.
Do you?
Okay.
I love.
Do you like the
American
Chicago accent?
Yes,
It's
I love
gorgeous.
it all. I
What's
love
your
it
favorite
all.
American accent?
Anything that isn't California.
We don't. Do we? No, I'm
We probably
curious.
talk like
I do a lot
California.
of like. No, you don't. It's like I'm talking about like deep California,
Like the Kardashians talk
yeah,
like
that's
that.
sort of like the Calabasas vibe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like it's at the back. It's like you sound like you're smoking, but you're not smoking.
It's like vocal fry too.
yeah, it's really hard, and you cannot move that face.
What did you?
Oh, the
you used to have a
faces
joke
like
about
that.
this. Remember
I don't remember.
the women's movement?
I'm not going to do a joke right now.
Oh, I was just tossing one over to you.
You had your chance, Natasha.
Okay.
You fucking blew it.
Here we go. Okay, well, that was what I was going to ask you.
But I love. No, I'd say the Bostonian.
Boston's pretty good.
Or sort of a deep Brooklyn. Anything that has
You
been
like a
caricatured
thick-
in a film.
You
I think
like
I've
a
really
thick
loved.
neck kind of hood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's James's accent?
He's like mine. His is like mine. Yeah. But also, I think grew up in Enfield and developed that accent at secondary school.
He went to a private school too?
Yeah, but it was like a grammar school. So we both had to clever our way into our secondary schools, but didn't do anything with
Okay,
it.
one more
And
question.
didn't achieve anything with it, and don't know anything, either of us, about anything.
All right, well, I don't believe that.
Yeah, you're both
it's a
very
true waste.
successful.
I have
It's a
a
true waste.
question.
But
Doesn't
now-
mean anything.
This
You're
is
an
Everyone's
actor.
fucking
You're
everyone's
an
successful.
actor. You use your voice.
If I took a shit on TikTok, I could become successful. Like who? Like
Okay.
What does anything mean?
This is why I'm saying
Here's
you
a
could
serious
get DJ
question,
gigs.
Jameela, and then we're going to
Okay.
take a call from someone
Right.
in
Very dangerous to ask me serious questions.
upstate
Surely
New
you know
York.
that by now.
Okay, if you had a child, which I know you don't, probably don't want one.
I don't want one. We talked about this, and you tried to propaganda me
She does
for
this.
40 minutes
Jameela,
straight.
I've tried her. I
It was
told her
so
to
fucking
stop.
weird because I
told
became
to
her
stop.
super fan
I'm
when
sorry.
she
I know.
was talking about not wanting a child, and then she turned, which is fine.
I know.
I have forgiven you for having a baby.
The only
but then to try
proof
to
of
like
life is
evangelize me
I know.
on the fucking podcast.
I'm
She
sorry.
does. She does this, and I don't know why. Because it's so clear to me that some people shouldn't have kids. Like it's not for
Like
them.
me.
I'm not saying that about you.
No, it's clear that that's what you meant.
It wasn't what I
No,
meant.
that's fine.
I feel
Can I
like
ask
Just
my
own your
question?
feelings.
To me,
Own your feelings.
No, to me, you are a mother to the farming community of the United Kingdom.
Thank you very much.
So you
Thank
already
for
have children.
thank you for seeing me.
Yeah, I
Okay,
see you.
Yeah.
here's my question. If you and James, well, let's say you had to have a child for some reason.
The state.
Well, that's
mandated
where
it.
America is going. So let's say we stay in America for the next 4 years.
Okay,
Go on.
Would you send them, because you both have been to private schools in England, I'm sure have experienced some leg up because of it.
Would never send a child to a private school.
You would send them to LAUSD?
The bullying is so much worse.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're cleverer. They're cleverer, and they've got like. It's not that the children are cleverer, actually.
And clever isn't necessarily smart either.
No, exactly. No, it's not. It's not. It's
manipulative.
not that they're cleverer. It's that the reason I would never send my child to a private school is that those are the children of billionaires and millionaires. And billionaires and millionaires are exponentially worse people. In order to become a billionaire, you have to exploit and manipulate. There are no like decent, good billionaires, I think, apart
about
from
Taylor
probably
Swift?
Rihanna and Taylor Swift. Don't worry, I'm not
You need
fucking
Elon Musk.
crazy. I'm not suicidal.
You look in the
Yeah.
camera.
You have a
Yeah.
done with.
Taylor Swift. She's a perfect person. No, Elon Musk is a great billionaire. We've got some good billionaires. Come
Yeah.
on, Jameela.
Yeah, sure.
Let's have some fun.
Okay, so what I was
I'm
going to say
with
is that so these are this is the progeny of these people. So they are so sophisticated at their bullying, and it's the whole like sticks and stones can break my bones, but words they cannot break me, or something like that. It's like that's bollocks.
Yeah, they can.
It is like words get into your marrow. You know, like I can't really remember a lot of the times I was beaten up, but I have.
You were beaten up?
Yeah.
Beaten up?
Yeah.
You were too. Why are you so shocked?
I was kind of, yeah.
We're gonna beat you up right now. I'm gonna cut your ear off. I
I had books thrown at my head and stuff.
Yeah. I
got
hit
beaten
with
up too. I
sticks
think
and stuff. and
everybody gets beaten up.
Yeah, exactly.
I never went to
think
a
it's
private school.
Listen. I think we need to bring beating back.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
It was-
glad you said it. I was
Listen.
wondering when you were going to bring it up.
Otherwise, how are you going to have a podcast later? Do you know what I mean? Then where are the goods?
Where's the trauma?
Yeah. So so we, I think that I would rather get smashed in the face than have the sort of the words that have lingered so long in me that I still like sort of think them every time I look in the mirror. Like girl, private school bullying is extraordinary.
High level.
Yeah, it was really bad. Like there was one time where like a group of girls who were bullying me came over to my house on a Saturday night, knowing full well I would be in watching the Eurovision Song Contest with my mother. And they came over and I was like, oh my God, why are the coolest girls in school here?
You were excited?
I was so excited because I was
no.
like, have I finally been allowed in? I
hate
have
this.
so many of these stories. It was a whole other podcast.
Oh, you must love your life now.
Oh, so happy.
You've got like a hot
Really
musician. You're this
Yeah.
gorgeous
Actress, just
model,
killing the game.
actress.
Everything I have
DJ,
achieved has been out of
podcaster.
spite.
Yeah,
Everything. But they came over to my house and I was like, oh my God, this is the call. They've come to invite me into the gang. And they come over and my mum buzzes them upstairs and they come upstairs to my apartment. And I open the door and I'm very confused and nervous and excited. And they're like, hey, we were just wondering what you're up to tonight. I was like, oh, nothing. I'm just watching the Eurovision Song Contest with my mother. Wrong answer. Don't say that. Just be like, oh, I'm just doing some heroin,
Cocaine,
with, I don't know, Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're supposed to say, but
They're like Aerosmith, the 75-year-olds? Yeah, yep.
Hey, they were only 55
That's
at the time. And they were like, cool, we're all going out. And I was like, great. And they were like, we just wanted to see what you were up to. I was like, okay. And they were like, okay, bye.
They
So they came over just to let me know that they're all going out on a really fun night out and to show me that I have nothing and no plans.
There was no world that they were inviting
No.
you and it
They
got
came over
awkward?
deliberately.
Oh
no,
my
they came
God.
over deliberately. Just this was the sort of insidious, cruel.
Did you think they were your
bullying.
friends?
No. They would write like ugly bitch on my locker and things like that. It was very clear that I wasn't, but I was so Stockholm syndrome that I was
Yeah.
just like, I just have to be thin enough, or I have to be beautiful enough, or I have to do something enough to get in with these girls. But I became an actress because of one of them.
There you go. How?
I don't
How
want to
so?
take too long because I know
No,
you have
go
your thing,
ahead.
but
No.
this is
Tell us.
We'll take you as long as you'll stay.
2 years later, they're like, it's just you other guests and I'm still here. In this same outfit.
And it's the same story.
Yeah.
You're like, so my first audition.
No, I'm not speaking. I'm just staring. I'm like, I become your Guillermo. So I was at UTA and I was explaining to them that I didn't want to be on television. I just moved over here and I'd said that I'd had a whole TV career in the UK and that I didn't think it was very good for my brain to be on TV and that I just wanted to do things that were not remotely about me being on camera.
Like what?
Like DJing, which is great. And writing, and I wanted to write, and I'd been a columnist in the UK and I wanted to write a script, and I had a script that I was working on at the time, and they were all arguing with me because obviously there's a lot of money for them to make if I'm on television and also for me to make, and they were explaining to me that I am, I'm making a huge mistake and they're bringing in more and more agents to sort of like talk me into this, and now they're sort
they're
of
bringing
like
the heavies in?
yeah, so it's now like 15 people around a room and everyone's like, it's an intervention
Right,
because
now
I'm
there's a guy-
trying to retire at like 29.
Right. Now there's a guy with a Brooklyn and Boston accent.
Yeah,
going,
totally.
"New
These are
York,
people off the street who work somewhere else who've been brought
Right,
in.
sure.
And we're in that like fishbowl in the entrance of UTA, which is a sort of like office just that's got a glass and everyone can see in and you can see out. And it's right opposite the door to UTA. So someone walks in and I'm in the middle of talking and arguing with all of these agents and managers about why I don't think I'm good enough to be on television. And this woman walks in and I was like, oh my God, that woman looks exactly like one of my worst bullies at school, like someone who was so cruel to me in such a clever, insidious way that damaged me forever. I was like, but obviously it couldn't be her, because why would she be on the other side of the world on the same day at the same time as me in the same agency? I don't even think she's in this industry. Surely it's not her. Of course not. And then suddenly she stops and she sees me. And she raises her hand to say hello. And I was like, holy fucking shit, that's my school bully. So I immediately become 12 again and dip under the table.
What?
Immediately. Instantly. You can't help
Wait,
it.
in full view of her?
In
She
full view of
sees
her.
you dip
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
She's
also
like, still
hey,
got it.
Don't
Still
judge
got it.
me.
No,
It's
I'm not.
trauma. All right.
I love
Don't
it.
look at me like I'm a piece of shit. I'm being vulnerable with you right
No,
now.
I like what's going on for her. She sees it. She's just like, ooh, baby, still got them
it.
skills.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing tonight?
So I disappear under the table and my manager's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? This looks so cringe. So I I come back up pantomiming that, I found my pen, and I'm being very pantomimey, very mimey, very over the top exaggerating, so she can understand exactly what I'm saying. And then I just start having like a meltdown, and everyone's like, what's happening right now? And I was like, my school bully, who I haven't seen since I was about 16, has just walked into the building, and
call her out.
And I was like, I'm having like a full panic, and I don't know what to do. I was like, I feel 12 again. And they were like, oh my God, what did she do to you? So I told them ways in which it was just, she was very clever and mean.
She's like trying to get signed at UTA.
Yeah. So they were like, do you want us to get her dropped? And I was like, no, bad karma, very bad karma. They were like, let's find out who she's meeting with. I was like, no,
Wait,
I don't want that.
It's a room with every agent.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. It's been a long time. I was like, I'm just having a trauma reaction. They were like, okay, well then what can we do to help you in this moment? And I was like, and just to say it earlier on, at the beginning of this meeting, they were trying to get me to go to an audition for The Good Place. And I was like, no, I don't want to be on TV at all. Right. So now they were being so sweet to me, and they were like, what do you need from us right now? We will do anything for you. And I could see now that it was no longer agents in the room. It was people who'd all been bullied at school.
Aww.
You know what I mean? I could see
Agents.
Everyone's inner child. That's the only reason you become an agent.
Sure.
You take control back.
Cops
do you know
and
what I mean?
agents all
Yeah,
got
exactly.
bullied.
It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, sure.
and so suddenly I realized that, okay, like we are together in this moment. We are united because we all know what this feels like. It's such a specific unification. And she and they were like, what do you need? And I was like, I thought about it for a second, and then I just said, and I'm not proud of this, but
I can't wait.
I was like, do you think that you could perhaps give me a round of applause?
No, you did not.
I did. And they gave me a standing ovation.
Was she there?
Yeah, she was sitting out there
Oh, it was
watching
for
everyone,
her.
and I'm
I like it more.
pantomiming, going like, no, stop, keep going, stop. I was like, stand up. Oh no, guys. And then I walk out of the room, just like, I was like, I'll call you later. And I walk out of the room and like flick my hair, walk past her, don't talk to her. And I think one of them said something along the lines of like, congratulations on your nomination. I was literally unemployed.
That is so
didn't
good.
have a visa.
I love it.
Didn't have any prospects. Had about $18 left in my bank account.
And
but
she's
in that
sitting
moment,
out there
yeah,
while you were telling them all the
and I saunter
stuff.
past with my fake nomination and my fake like standing ovation, and then I called them afterwards like on the speakerphone, and I was like, oh my God, that was so cool, thank you so much. And I was like, you know what, I was like, I'll go to that audition just to show you I can't act, but like you did me such a solid in there. I will go and prove to you that why I shouldn't be on screen. And then I got The Good Place.
Oh, that is a great,
isn't it a
fucking
mad
tale.
story?
Yes.
I'm trying to think if I think instead of pounding the pavement for 25 years auditioning, I would have rather been bullied and gotten the first job I auditioned for.
Hey,
in LA.
I am not popular for how I got into acting.
That is
but,
good.
you know,
Who cares? Nothing
You and
matters.
Ashton Kutcher, one audition.
yeah.
You know what? And that woman, that bully standing out there, you don't ever tell this part of the story. It was Genji Cohen.
Wait, can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
Is that girl a famous actress?
Yes, is she successful?
No,
We did know.
no. But she's very successful and she's very talented.
Well,
but not famous.
Not
an actress.
I would say known.
But that's the problem with private school bullies is you can't, especially if they have billionaire families, you can't look them up 25 years later.
I'm listening.
You can't look.
She's just waving at her imaginary friend. Don't worry about it.
You can't look them up 25 years later and go, oh, they've become a complete loser. It's like she's the head of mergers and acquisitions at Rolex Incorporated. Like everybody's successful.
Yeah. You know what? But it just, I got so much out of that moment. And I would never have become an actor if I hadn't been bullied.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
and then seen her in that exact moment. I would never have ever gone to an audition like that. So I literally owe my entire life to being bullied
To Naomi
school.
Watts.
But would you
To Jennifer Coolidge.
would you take it back?
Huh?
Would you take it back if I could grant you the ability to have not experienced the trauma as a
She
kid?
loves her life.
No, I'm having a great time. Look at
Yeah.
this jacket.
No, it's
Do you know what I mean?
great.
It's
It does scream I was bullied as a teen.
Her
yeah, I know, 'cause
husband
it's got like
writes
big
songs
shoulder
for
pads
her.
to make me look tougher and braver.
That's
No, I love my life, and it was character building, and I could stand to be, I'd say, 10% or 15% less traumatized. I could have had a little bit less, but
maybe that's what makes
if
you, because
that's
you're
what it
also
took-
funny.
If that's what it took to get me here, then that just is what it is.
It's just
you know what
weird
I mean?
to think about what your life would be like without the trauma, like who you would be right now. It would be
I think we're running too much from trauma now. And
Yeah.
I think, and I, as someone who's advocated against shame, think I've been actually quite problematic because I think we've now gone too far with shamelessness and we need to bring a little bit back.
Yeah.
Like
think
in
we
our
need to-
parenting?
Just everything. In every way. Let's just feel a little bit more shame than we were. I don't think no shame is helpful. I think a bit of shame just keeps us in check. And I think allowing a little bit of trauma in keeps people funny.
Yeah, it keeps people funny.
I'm worried if we become too anti-trauma that no one's going to have a sense of humor.
And we don't take risks anymore because we're afraid of trauma. I just heard about, and we got to do this call, but this fascinated me. I haven't talked about it on the podcast yet. That from time immemorial, the biggest bone-breaking demographic, the people that broke their bones the most for as long as they've been counting,
With the people who watched Jackass on MTV in the 90s.
Well, yes, it was teenage boys, right? And like recently, senior citizens have become the highest demographic to break their bones because we've become so risk averse that young people less and less, more and more, are avoiding risk to such a degree that they're not having adventures and they're not risking stuff. And that there is something that is deeply troubling about that, you know.
Yeah,
even
because
though-
mistakes is how you learn.
Yeah.
You know, every time my brother broke his arm jumping off like a fucking, I don't know how he got on top of a door one time, but you know, it's like, this is how we know what our limitations are, and you need to get it out of your system a little bit. Not ideal, but there you
Just
go.
want to protect her from all.
Well, that's the problem. Is that
Yeah,
the
but
love,
then later you're going to be like, why isn't my child funny? She's
Right.
got two funny parents. Like,
Right.
But at least she'll still be living in my house.
she definitely will still be in your house. There's no question about
I didn't
it.
know you were Indian.
Is that what happens?
Yes.
You just stay there?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And do they just have big houses so everyone gets a room?
Yeah.
Do you get
It's
your
an
own
annex. It's an
kitchen?
annex. Huh?
Own kitchen?
No, because you want to be involved in everything.
Well, Arabs take it a step further. Do you know this?
No.
In Arab countries, they don't just keep the kid there. They build a wing on top of the house. So if you see old Arab family houses, it'll be like multiple structures that almost don't look like they're contiguous because they build a wing on top of it.
Wait, there is actually a house up the street doing that illegally.
No, there's generations
People
living-
keep calling the
Yeah.
city on them.
All right. We've gone through it all. I feel like it's a perfect time for a call.
Yes, let's call Carlo in San Diego.
Carlo, how are you?
Hi, Carlo. It's
Hi, mate.
Natasha, Moshe, and Miss Jameela here to talk to you.
Oh my God, hi. I'm
Hi.
like super starstruck right now by all three of you. So
Oh,
hi
yes.
guys.
Even
Which
Moshe.
one the most, would you say?
Well, I love all of you like differently in different ways.
Thank you.
Jamila, I love you. And in Legendary, you're like
Aw.
such
I am the
great,
weakest link on that show, but thank you so much. I love you too.
No, you stand your ground good. You
Oh, I like this guy. You stand your ground.
Yeah.
What is Legendary?
It's a TV show that I do about ballroom culture.
Oh,
where I'm one
cool.
of the
Yeah,
judges.
and she's up there with some
Hello.
bitches, but she handles it well.
I love ballroom culture. That's so fascinating. Okay. Tell us, how can we help you?
So I am calling from San Diego today, but I actually live in Wyoming year round. I'm just visiting my family out here at the moment and visiting my mom and my sister. And I think the best way to get through my question, because I don't want to ramble on you guys, is just to read the email that I sent over, and then you guys can give me your feedback if that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Now, this is a classic traditional Wyoming accent, just in case you're wondering.
love it.
Yeah. That's what Wyoming sounds like.
No, I'm from San Diego. I just live near Grand Teton National Park and everything out there. It's
Oh,
nice.
I want to go there so bad. I want to go to Grand Teton so bad.
Yeah, we're trying to go to all the national parks.
But Grand Teton in particular, I heard, is the most breathtaking of them all.
It's up there with Glacier National Park. And just a quick side tangent.
I hate the outdoors.
Well, we're taking you.
Well, I would say with your guys' RV culture situation, it would be a cool drive out there. And then Natasha, I work at like one of the top like resorts in the United States, and I think you would love to like 1 or 2 nights stay out there. And then
Ooh, what's it called?
Amman.
We're gonna.
We can cut this part out.
Ooh, even I've heard of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. This sounds good. You've got us both, Carlo.
Okay,
Let's see if
great.
you- wait,
This is
maybe
a great
even-
way to make sure that we're on your side now
Yeah.
for the letter.
All right, read that letter.
Okay, we'll offline about that. And yeah, let's hear
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Okay, so dear comedic darlings Natasha and Moshe, longtime listener and former secret leaver, I'm 29 and I'm coming to realize the state of the economy and people's obligations that I have no one to enjoy the world with. Mainly in terms of travel. I guess I'm a rare case these days where I am actually able to foresee travel for myself, and I wish that my friends my age had the same opportunity. For the sake of mentioning, I'm a normal person. I have a normal job. I'm not doing anything like crazy out of the
Ew.
order.
You have some disposable income.
I have some disposable income,
Yeah.
and in my time, complaining to my mom over the phone, I've shared these feelings with her, and she's also been single most of my life, and she has had limited opportunity to travel herself. Um, she's had past relationships where they plan to go to Europe and they break apart, and she's like dreaming of going to like Italy and Niagara Falls and like things like that. And so now I was mentioning like a trip I was trying to plan with my brother to go to Europe, but that idiot
Oh.
never got a passport, and so I didn't go. I was supposed to go this month, and I'm in San Diego, and so while I was complaining to her about it, she said she'd love to go with me, and I first and foremost, it would be my total privilege to go to Europe with my mom, like to take her and to really experience that with her. And I would love to do that with her. It's just that since she's older, she's going to be 60 soon. And
That is not that old.
well, I don't, I
It's
feel
a
the
bad
same.
60.
Let him get it out, all right? This is clearly a good man.
Well, well, I feel the
He
same
loves
way.
me on Legendary.
This is, by the way, the non-rambly version. Go ahead, Carlo.
I feel the same way. It's not that old, but recently she's been taking trips to visit me in Wyoming, and I've been trying to get her into national parks and like take her to hot springs and things like that. And and it's anything that like something like as simple as getting into a river like kind of overwhelms her and things like that. And so I just like if I was to go to Europe, I want to go hiking in the Azores off Portugal. I want to go into Romania and like hike up to Dracula's castle. I want to do like really out of the place things.
Hmm.
And she wants to stay at like Europe's greatest hits, and she wants to go to like London, Paris, Rome, and like it's not that those cities are bad. It's just not like the type of stay that I want to do, where you
Hmm.
have to go and stay at a hotel, and then you kind of like you first of all like lose all the money you've saved up and like all this stuff in like a single city in just a span of a couple of days. I'm trying to take a train from Berlin to Austria and then fly from there to Turkey and then go to like Azerbaijan for no reason. And so we have different ideas of
You
what
need
a
a
trip.
lover.
I know. I need to get out of Wyoming. It's lovely, but there's no gay people there, and so I'm gonna move at some point soon because I do need a lover. But
I mean, this
uh,
trip sounds very romantic. It sounds like something that you take with like as a newlywed,
Yeah, you don't do Azure by mom. That's not what you do. Come on, guys. That was fun.
But you could. Are you done with the question?
No, I don't even think he started the question.
oh well, okay. So I agree. One day I'm gonna do this type of trip with someone that I have a special relationship with. But I've decided I am gonna do this trip with my mom. She deserves it. I really want
Yes.
to do this with her. So I just want to know how to mediate a trip where she wants to do a very different version of Europe than what I want to do, and how to get there because I can't really leave her on her own and be like, okay, can you stay in Venice for 2 days while I go to wherever I want to go?
Right.
Okay. First things first. I mean, you're close to your mother, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, I'm smelling a little bit of maybe trauma.
She lets me stay.
I-
She lets me stay in her house, so I would say so.
Exactly. Okay, so I think potentially the favor, if you feel like you're close and she's been a good mum and she's letting you live in her house and this, that, and the other, there's built you in her body, blah blah blah. So I think that it should be sort of like a 60-40 negotiation where she wins 60% and you win 40%. And I really like it when people have a conflict of any kind and they make lists of what they want, and then the other person makes a list of what the other person wants, and then you can look at it together, because when you're just speaking it out, it's hard to track who wants more or what's being negotiated, whereas when you can see it written down, you can actually go like, oh, that's not fair, I'm getting too much or I'm not getting enough.
It's so
I
funny.
like the idea of you
Go
on.
ahead.
No.
Well, that's like exactly what our couples therapist told us is like, because we had a similar issue. Like I wanted to hang around more and Moshe wanted to go see like war monuments. And he was like, if you would write it out beforehand, then the expectations. Like he wanted us to do everything on the itinerary. But to me, an itinerary is like a suggestion. But go ahead.
But lists are genius. Like this is what the BDSM community has. Like I was learning about it when I did a documentary where when they're on, and I always apply BDSM rules to my mother. But
they started it.
Yeah.
They began the fetish.
Exactly. So BDSM, it's mother is the M. No?
That's right.
They'll send each other on a dating app a list of like, I like this, and the other person will be like, well, I like this, and if it matches up, it's like, great, let's hang out, and if it doesn't, they're like, let's not waste each other's time. And so I think that the list making element of human beings is truly genius, and the key to, I swear to God, if world leaders did that in the middle of a conflict, I feel like it would make things, they sat down opposite each other and made a list and then compared the list,
and they were women,
it would be easy, and were women, it would be easier for them to be like, no, I can see how I am actually fucking you over, that is fair. And that's how compromise is made. So I think know in advance that you're skewering it a bit more towards the woman who, pushed you out of the vag, but you also are your own sentient being, you're paying for it. And you are supposed to also enjoy your own life. So that's my personal thing, is that you go in with a clear idea of percentages you're willing to give. Everything in life is just a transactional business deal.
And also, but how does he manage the fact that she physically is unable to do most of the things he wants to do, like hike wise? And
but for some of those things, it's like then she can come to that area and spend a really nice. You can maybe stay in a nice hotels where she can enjoy the resort of it all or whatever, and then you can go off for the day. Like she's a grown adult woman. You said she's been single for a long time. She knows how to be alone, and so for the day you can go off exploring a natural park or go on a hike, and she can go to a spa. There are certain things that you can do where it's like, okay, maybe it's not going to be Paris, maybe we're going to go to this place that has this natural thing, but it's going to be an amazing thing. And then maybe you make one trip to one of the Londons or the Parises or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like everyone gets a little bit, and she's more than capable. She's a grown fucking woman. She can hang out on her own in a beautiful place and maybe go for a very slow walk around the area, and you can get a train somewhere and go and like live your passion. The thing is that do you not want to climb those mountains or walk through those national parks on your own?
I guess I don't. It just makes me feel more single. So
no, I do understand that. So then what?
You want to be on top of a mountain in Austria and singing "Climb Every Mountain."
He wants to be fucking on top of that.
That's right.
That's what we all want.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the beginning of my message, I've another thing I was going to do this month is I couldn't go to Europe with my brother, so I booked like Kauai for a couple of days. And I got a resort, and all I wanted help was like maybe splitting a rental car with someone. And and I invited like all my friends, like anyone, like my brother, my friends who live in the South, my friends who live in Chicago, the Bay, and San Diego, and like literally anyone who, and they're just friends, like they're just people who I can spend great quality time with, and no one's just in a financial position to do it. But I just want to have quality time. And so if I'm doing these like hikes by myself, where I would like to be there with my mom and taking a view and things like that, but she doesn't feel comfortable doing it. Like I don't want to make her feel left out. I also don't want to feel like I'm not getting the full quality experience, because I do want to do it with someone. It doesn't have to be a lover. I have like good friends that I go hiking with and stuff in Grand Teton National Park. It would be cool, but no one can do it.
Can I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
Does your mother have any kind of big health issues, or is it more of a just sort of lifestyle?
She's more sedentary these days. She travels, but like she goes on cruises and things like that, like, so she still luxuriates a lot. And
it's giving lazy. It's giving me.
Yeah.
Is what it's giving.
You like
That's
it.
how
You're the
travel.
mom.
I want to go on holiday with your mother so badly.
Me
She
too.
is exactly like me. I think this is what we do. You go with my boyfriend. He's lovely. He's great company.
Can Moshe
He'll
come?
sing to you on the mountain.
Yeah.
Moshe can come. And then me, Natasha,
And
and
your
your
mum.
mum will all go to London,
We'll
Paris.
get mimosas.
Stay at the Aman. Be bougie. But is there a chance? Is there a world in which, and this is really extreme of me, but you could like put your mother in some sort of a boot camp, like a training boot camp where you get her
Get
sort
her
of
in
like more
shape.
physically fit and ready for this, because I think she'd have an amazing time seeing these things, so maybe it's time for her to
and
not
they
be,
have-
it's also good for her to not be sedentary. I keep being told by my doctor.
Your mom's not going to a boot camp. I mean, here's what I mean.
Well, she might there might be like hikes have levels too. Like you could go to a beautiful place that's like a level 2.
She doesn't
so you could
want
both.
to go hiking. Carlo's mom does not want to go hiking.
But has she tried?
You don't want to go hiking.
This is not about me.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, I know that Moshe and Natasha, you guys have that, you've reached that, like, silver lining of you want to adventure, you also want to stay at like nice places, and you have that middle ground. But what about with each of your parents, who I'm assuming are older? If they're, I'm not sure if everyone's parents are still around, but just do you travel with them, and how is that like in trying to negotiate like a quality like experience?
There are certain places that are just off the table because his mom has 2 knee replacements. She's 75. She's deaf. They're not going to Venice. She'll never see Rome.
You always bring up the deaf part, but her ears have nothing to do with how many hikes she can take.
Well, she has her.
She wouldn't be able to hear danger.
That's true.
No,
if there's
but
a
she
cougar behind her.
she has a cochlear implant that makes her off balance.
No,
Yes.
So the cochlear implant and the cobblestone and like it's like those we've even talked about, like his mom is never going to come here.
but this is
Yeah, and at the age of our parents, taking someone who is not well on sort of like extensive hikes, etc., could seem like you're trying to just get insurance money.
Come on, Mom, up to Dracula's castle. Shove. No, here's the reality is with my mother, even though she's old and can barely get around, she is an adventurer at heart and wants to go to these places. So I've taken RV trips with her through national parks, and she'll just stay at the camp while me and my stepdad go for a hike or whatever. But in reality, your mom doesn't want that. That's what I'm hearing. Like, you want, because you're young and think that you have only so many trips in your bank account. But in reality, you have an unlimited amount of trips. You just can't take them all at once because you're going to live for a long time and you're going to earn money your whole life, and you're going to be able to do the trip that's like the selfish trip where you do coke and fuck a guy on top of a mountain. But then there's another trip where...
And that is not this trip. And you can't be resentful that it's not this trip.
If you're going to take your mom to Europe, this is my vibe, what I'm getting from you. If you're going to take your mom to Europe, then you're going to do the Carlo mom trip to Europe. And Jamila's right. You can negotiate, but Mom, when we get to the Azerbaijan stop on this trip,
but he doesn't want to go do that walk alone. What
himself.
I would say is I would split your finances up in 2 and do a shorter trip to Europe with your mother, where you do the trip that she wants to do, so that one day when she's too old to go traveling at all, you can be like, I did that amazing trip with my mother and I made her feel really good. And also now she can never throw any of the shit she did for me back in my face. I've now, now we're equalized in all arguments going forward because I did this wonderful thing. And then so you don't blow your entire holiday fund on that, and then you save money and then start working towards it being back up to 100. And then in that time, maybe you need to, join more kind of groups or something for people who are also into, I'm sure they've got like Facebook groups or TikTok or whatever. Like I sound so old.
No, they have TikTok groups about going on vacation with your mom.
Maybe you need to also find your adventurer people, in that time. So in the time in which you're finding those adventurer people, you start saving back up and then go on the full trip of your dreams. Yeah. But I think it sounds like you want to have that experience with her, and there's just a smaller, cheaper way to do that, and then you can go back to Europe again. You're so young and hot.
Yes, you are so young and hot, and we just want to take you up to a mountain. And we just want to drag you up to the top of a mountain in Azerbaijan and have our way with you.
Okay, well, I would like to be excluded from that narrative, but I do think that maybe that's what I would do. Is I would go like, okay, it's a smaller holiday. We're going to go do these things, make these memories, take these photographs that I'm going to like cherish for the rest of my life.
It's the basics
and then
of Europe.
Then I'm going to spend the rest of that money building it back up and going on my Indiana Jones wet dream.
And your mom's going to annoy you if you take more than 7 days. So what I would recommend is 3 days in Paris, 3 days in Venice, 2 days in Paris, only 2 days in Venice, and then maybe 3 days in Rome. 2 days in Rome?
Rome's quite intense. I would say a day maybe in Rome.
A day in Rome?
Maybe a day. It was a lot. It's so much fucking walking on cobblestones, like her feet. And then I would go to like Tuscany for like 2 or 3 days. Yes. Or Florence or something.
But 8 days total, right?
Yeah, 8 days total, including travel time.
I have a practical suggestion.
Also include London in there instead, because then you can get the train over from London.
And there's so much to do. You guys could go to the theater. You could see, I don't know, what does she like? Does she like to go to the symphony? There's got to be some sort of culture that might
and go for an afternoon tea and go and like,
she would love that. High tea.
Oh, she takes me to a symphony here in San Diego. Like,
perfect.
Amazing.
It seems like Salzburg.
Okay, London. You know what?
Name.
The train is also, if you book it in advance, not too expensive from London to Paris. You could save money. Do this trip on a bit of a budget. You know what I mean? Maybe do London, then Paris, then Barcelona.
Ooh,
you
yeah,
know?
I like
and then
that.
Barcelona is amazing because even she, in her sedentary state, will want to go and see like the Dali houses and all these
Yes.
things, and you'll be able to gain culture. You will also
Hot
love.
boys.
You will also love that trip, by the way. And I can say that as someone who only does that trip. You will love that trip, and then the rest of it.
The best food in Barcelona. You can like stop and eat every like 3 hours.
The boys are so hot.
The boys are hot. Do it. And there's a beach, but I did hear there's like bloated rats in the ocean.
This is America.
I have a couple of suggestions. I think everything that everybody said is great.
Yes.
But I think, have you ever heard of Viking river cruises?
Moshe.
I swear this seems like the solution to your life. Like
He does not want to go on one of
No,
those.
Viking river cruise.
Hell
you're,
no.
You're on a. Let me just get my thought out. You're on a boat with your mom, going through only the river-based destinations in Europe. She can stay on the boat and play shuffleboard with her older friends. You can bop off and do whatever
But
you
he
want.
doesn't
You-
want to bop off on his own.
I get it, but you got to make friends when you're out.
I think go and do the together 1 week holiday with your mother, and then she can cherish that. She will dine off that shit for decades.
Ooh, do you have to share a room though?
Oh yeah, I mean,
So
essentially. And
7 days
especially if you're
total.
budgeting. Yeah, 7
Okay,
days
7.
total.
You can't do more than 7 days in a
No.
room with your mom in Europe. She's going to drive you fucking crazy.
Now, there's this other thing I just heard about. There's an app. I don't know the name of it. I should
Is
look
it?
it
Does
up.
it begin with the word Viking?
No, it has nothing to do with Viking River
The
Cruises.
Viking River
This is
Cruises
something
app.
else. This could be kind of cool. You sign up. Yeah, there's an app. It's called VikingRiverCruises.org. It's a service that you pay and they don't tell you where you're going.
Oh my God.
But let me just finish my thought. But you plan a vacation for you in Europe if you want to go to Europe or wherever you want to go, and you open it at the airport. But it's not.
This is sex trafficking.
No, it's not.
That's a sex trafficking app.
That's so funny.
That's
My
how
mom
they get you.
When my mom recommended I do that by myself, like a week or two ago.
I just found out about it.
We
It's
will
just-
never hear from you again.
No, it's just real. It's a real service, and they plan activities and restaurants.
And
do
they give you a
everything
new
for-
passport with a new name on it when you get there.
All you have to do is hand over your passport when you get
Yeah.
there, and a man will give it back to you when he deems
And
that
then
you're
you
ready.
get a job
When
in a
you've-
parlor.
Yeah, when you've worked off enough of your debt, they
Yeah.
will give you your passport back. I don't know. That could be kind of cool because it's an adventure, but it's also curated so that it's not.
Yeah, but it might be
labor-intensive.
shit like that restaurant, Dole Noir, where they offer you like the chef surprise. And then it's that restaurant where you eat fully in the dark. And
Oh,
so it's
God.
supposed to elevate
It's
your
not
sense
stuff
of
like that.
taste. I don't know post-COVID, but like pre-COVID they did. And there was like a chain. They had one
I
in
remember
like
this,
Paris
yeah.
and like one in London and one in New York. But the chef surprise was fucking foul. And then there's nothing you can do because then you've just
You're
like,
already in.
you've submitted
spent all
to
your
the chef
money.
surprise.
All right.
It was like zebra cheek and shark ass. Like it was totally tasteless. Like so, I don't know. I think for someone with an who is very open to everything, that app sounds absolutely amazing. Someone who's just like looking for spontaneity in their life. But
Moshe.
it sounds like
That's
no,
Moshe.
no. But it sounds like this guy has got his shit on lock. He knows who he is. He knows what he wants. He's super handsome. I don't know why I keep bringing up your looks, but it just feels
It feels germane.
relevant
Yeah.
to the story. Mostly also just to reassure you that you will be taking this trip with a lover.
Yeah.
I think sooner
And
than you
to
expect.
add to that too, my friend Ricky Lindholm, this is kind of her experience, but she has a child now, but before she had her baby, she was traveling and working, and I don't know where she was.
She was in
like,
Iceland or something.
but
or-
well, she
no,
was
Norway.
Anyway, she was in Norway, but she decided to go on these vacations all around while she was working, and she visited like 10 different countries, and she said the secret was to join groups of tourist groups of like, they weren't old people, like it, so she just ended up like becoming friends with people on these like tour buses.
That does sound cool when you say it like that.
I don't know,
Just
like, it
befriend people on a tour bus.
Well, she
No,
said
but it can be like that. I've heard people
She
like
said it
meet
was
the
like
love
a
of their
hack.
life on those sometimes.
I'm
Have you
just
done that?
saying, you can.
No, I wouldn't
Would you do that? I don't
mean-
see it. No, but I hear what you're saying. Like, there are worlds in which you go to these European destinations. We should.
Not
and
when
you
your
meet
mom's
someone
here.
there.
And you meet a group of people and you go do the hike with your young, new hostel-like friends, and then you come back to your mom and you guys go to the symphony, and you can have your cake and eat it too.
Because also those are other people people who maybe they didn't have friends who wanted to or could come with them and they wanted to go on the adventure. You're going to find your like-minded folks. This is what I was kind of saying, is that join groups and figure out if there are tours you can go and do. And it does probably feel lonely, but I bet there's a bunch of people who are going there on their own who also feel the same way. And then you're going to find people you actually have things in common with.
Yeah, you're going to have a bunch of people who've got like an old mom back at the hotel room eating petit foie or whatever.
I feel like you're dissatisfied with our advice, and I understand. Tell us what you're feeling.
No. I think in terms of the trip with my mom, I think the week-long trip actually makes a lot of sense. And
Boom.
And we can focus a little bit more on things she wants to do while still getting in some fun for myself. And then I've always been resistant to groups, and like my mom's, like you guys are kind of echoing her just a bit, and because she's told me to take a Kon-Tiki trip, she's told me to do this like secret
Viking.
Yeah, the Viking cruise is the secret. I don't know where I'm going. Like, the secret. I don't know where I'm going.
The trafficking thing, yeah.
The sex trafficking thing, and then
sex traffic your mom. It's a simple piece of advice.
But
you know what? Actually, maybe. Sorry, no. Go on. Finish. So I beg your pardon.
Oh, I think I should make myself more receptive to groups. I think I always like kind of feel like it'll make me feel old to do something like that, like to meet up with a bunch of random strangers. But maybe
look at the reviews of the thing too. Like,
some of them even say like under 40s, under 50s, under whatever. Some of them are actually like sort of targeted at sort of people of similar. Also, like it's quite physical, the things you want to do. So it's going to be it's not going to be a lot of people later in life who are going to be on the super physical trips. Like you're going to mostly meet young fit people.
Yeah. The thing is, you're like exactly too old and too young for the thing that you think. Like if you were 18, that's how people go to Europe. They just find whatever dirtbag is in the bunk next to them at the hostel and they go on an adventure. And if you're 68, that's how it's whoever's still alive. But you're like in the middle and you're like, oh, it'll make me seem like an old guy if I do that. But I think if you find the right group, you'll be able to have a lot of fun and your mom will have the trip of a lifetime.
And so what if, because the expensive part is really getting from the United States over to that part of the world, what if you have that week with your mother and then ship her alone back to, from maybe like London to, wherever.
Ship her.
Yeah, I said ship her. I mean, put her in a box.
That's right.
On a boat.
That's
what I mean.
Go to mailboxes,
very, very clear.
That's an add-on
FedEx
feature.
that bitch. Home.
I think Jameela has like expertise in human trafficking.
No, it's an add-on feature with the Adventure app.
I don't want to tell you how I afforded this coat.
Yeah.
It's my business. Anyway, we had a strike, okay? It's been difficult. But what I would say is that I think you send your mum home at the end of that week, you stay on and have a bunch of these trips planned. It's like fucking YOLO, man. Life is short. We've just been through a pandemic. See what it's like. Don't try and preempt it. If it's shit, just don't tell anyone about it. You'll still have interesting stories about how shit or weird it was. It'll still be amazing. It might be incredible. You might meet the love of your life there.
It might be your mother.
It's not going to be your mother.
It might.
But do you know what I mean? Then you're not having to pay to get from here all the way there twice. Because I think that was the very unrelatable. That was me giving 2 bathrooms. Like that was my 2 bathrooms.
I like that idea a lot. So
ship your mom home, have an adventure afterwards.
Carlo, we love you.
Yeah, we do love. Well, we're gonna definitely hit you up to try to manipulate you for a stay at the Amman Resort in Wyoming. There's no question we're gonna be following up on that.
All right.
You really should. I'll make sure you're in the cutest suite. So
Ooh,
good luck on this trip. It's going to be an amazing adventure.
Bon
Even
voyage.
if it's weird, the weirder the better. The weirder, the funnier the stories are. Think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Get weird. Bye-bye.
Bye, honey.
Bye now.
What a sweetie pie.
I know. I like him. His issue really is that he's trying to simultaneously have the like I love you mommy trip and the adventure of a lifetime trip.
I would have her train for a marathon.
I know that was some of the greatest advice ever. Have you thought about putting your mom into a boot camp to get her ready to hike the Alps?
I think moms get one trip to Europe with their children and they should be happy.
100%. I think like she's done a lot and she's given up a lot, and so she should definitely get be treated. But then he's already over there. She can take the flight back on her own, and she'll be just the whole time thinking about what an amazing job she did to have such a lovely son who wanted to do this with her. Yep. So she's going to be riding high, and then he can go and fulfill his adventures.
It's just funny to try to put your mom in the like hostile young person like party time Ibiza vacation. It's like no, just give her the mom trip.
Take her to the young farmers ball.
Yeah, exactly. What do we got time for one more thing? If you have time for one more thing. We could do one more. What do you prefer? You want to do one more call or hear some deep, dark secrets that people have left on our voicemail?
I want to hear about deep, dark secrets.
Okay.
I live for gossip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
live
here
for
you
it.
go.
Live for it. I have really no integrity.
No, I feel that you do.
No. It's my accent.
It all comes back to the accent.
Yeah.
How do you know about ballroom culture? That seems very sophisticated.
What do you mean? No, it's not ballroom culture like you think. It's ballroom as in like the culture that birthed voguing.
Gay stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gay
I thought
stuff.
it was like if you drop a hanky, that means you want to dance.
No.
I just
I love the idea that you think I'm judging a show that's like da, 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 da,
There's the quartet. You're like, oh, you would never have those types of tablecloths at that
if you
type
want a
of
trip
party.
to Europe with your mom, may I suggest the ballroom culture of Austria?
So yeah, no, it's not that kind
It's
of ballroom.
voguing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Are
And it's
you
amazing.
ready, Laura, for a secret to play?
Hi, Natasha. Hi, Moshe. This is a secret I've never actually said out loud because I'm always worried that a family member or friend will hear me, and I
have an
know it
immediate
would
erection.
change how they view me, especially my in-laws. I don't think they would like have the same level of respect for me if they knew this secret. Here it goes. I've never said this out loud, but I don't like Prince's music.
Oh my God, same.
Icon and
Stop.
It's great, but I turn it on and it just sounds like
It's structureless.
messy and noisy.
Yeah.
And I really want to like it, and I give it a lot of chances. There's something about it just does not click for me.
It's just not as catchy.
And, not even kidding. I'm pretty ashamed about it. Like, what a universally loved person and like cool guy, and yet I'm over here like Mrs. Stinker, like hating it. But yeah, I'm never going to tell my family or friends ever. And this might be the last time I say it out loud. Love the pod. Bye.
I should have also said that anonymously, shouldn't I?
Well, it was
Now
just
everyone's going to come after
Can I just
me.
say, you all are crazy. Your ears have not been attuned right.
My ears are fine.
No. No.
You have just succumbed to peer pressure
Undeniable.
because you've been told he's cool.
Oh, hell
I mean-
no. Hell no.
Listen,
no, it's
has
not
he
true.
got, has he got 5 big bops? 100%. But I have watched him do like one of those 7-hour shows of extraordinary guitar. Is he an amazing musician? Is he a genius?
I'm not talking about a
Is he an
7-hour
icon?
show. I'm
For
talking about
sure.
at like 5 albums. I'm saying that he is
Give
so
me a deep
unique.
cut that you love.
A deep cut. I mean, I guess nothing compares to you as in a deep cut. Like
No,
I
it's
don't
not a
know,
deep cut.
raspberry. Like
Oh,
a
you're
deep
just
cut.
naming the
Okay.
biggest hits of all time.
A deep cut.
I'm sorry, super fan
Prince.
Legero.
I like
Purple
every
Rain much?
Yeah.
every.
Have you heard
every
of When
song.
Doves Cry?
Every song is amazing. I
No,
don't know.
every big banger that the world loved. Listen, am I saying that he didn't have some ginormous bangers? No, I'm just saying that the reverence that he gets where he gets held up alongside Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
and
I
like,
totally
don't know,
disagree.
the unmitigated
Carole
gall
King.
of you sitting there in a bright pink motorcycle jacket that
Yeah.
Prince would have worn.
I know. Listen, do I
kinda
respect him?
hear what you're saying.
Wait, there's
Do I
one
respect
that's like
him?
all
I respect
dirt.
him.
It's like every song is like sexual and dirty, but in this like rock and roll. Like I just feel like
you're naming another massive banger.
which one is that?
I think it's I Want to Sex You Up or something like
No.
that. Or like,
I think that's Color Me
listen,
Bad.
is it
I
kind of-
can't.
You're
I cannot rattle off every Prince deep cut. But
Clearly,
I know,
you have
No,
not
hold on.
rattled off one
Hold
single
on.
No,
Prince
every
cut,
New Year's-
just to be
there's a
clear.
I have Dirty Mind. I have Purple Rain. I have.
Stop naming ginormous
No, these are the
chart-topping
albums.
bangers. Okay,
Can I
fine.
just say?
Jamila,
I just,
every New Year's Eve.
Okay,
they
name
play-
a deep cut off
they-
the record.
I'll do-
I'm a mom. I have no brain
She's a
cells.
mom.
Oh, it's
She's a
mum
mom.
brain.
She's
It's
a
mum
mom.
brain.
All I know is that every time I listen to the full album, I'm like every single song. I
You
just
sleep so well.
I love it. I love him. I think he's so unique. And I think what
He is
makes him
unique.
so great is, and I remember hearing like, he said no to like every single producer who wanted to help him, who wouldn't let him do it exactly how he wanted. And he played every single instrument. And I just always think he's such an example of like what you can
Right,
do
but
as an
she's
artist
not
without the kind, like now music has this like complete
Agreed, totally.
corporate, and he is like the opposite of that.
Agreed. And listen, I am dating an ultimate musical rule breaker. I understand. And I think
Me too, by the way.
And but this woman didn't say that she doesn't respect Prince. She didn't say that he's not an iconoclast and a genius. She just said she doesn't like his music that much.
And
I
just
think
said she's never heard. Yes.
I think some people say they like Prince because they like the 5 big bangers. And by the way, having 5 ginormous timeless bangers is the sign of being an icon. It's just that his music doesn't make all of us feel that good. And the fact that
It makes
we
you
have
feel
to
bad.
call as if we are like hiding from the Gestapo to say on a podcast that I don't like him shows that the peer pressure is abound.
So you're okay. Can I ask you a
Do you
question?
like Taylor Swift?
That was going to be my next question. What's your favorite of the deep cuts of Taylor Swift, Jameela?
I don't know Taylor Swift's music especially. I don't know, and not in like a cool way. Like I think she's again like another total lyrical genius. It's just not my personal natural taste in music. There are songs she has that I love, and I think I probably like as many big bangers of hers as I do of someone like Prince. But it's like when people say the Rolling Stones are as good as the Beatles, I get instantly annoyed.
I'm
are you a
with you
Rolling
on that.
Stones girl or are you a Beatles girl?
I would say the Beatles win on that.
I'm with
Thank
you on that. I've
but
never gotten
But the
it.
way that it was uncool for the last like 3 decades to say that you prefer the Beatles or even
Right.
like the Beatles
Right.
was so weird, where we would have had to make a secret call to be like, I don't like the Rolling
I've
Stones.
Well,
never
the Beatles-
Like
understood.
they've got 5 big songs. That's amazing. I've got no big songs.
Right.
I'm not shitting on anyone. I'm just saying not everyone. I think some of us say that we like things because we want to sound cool rather than actually this makes me feel good. I want to put this on in the car.
This is how I feel about jazz. Just
Right.
the whole genre.
Okay.
It's fine.
Music's for different things.
And
like
it's
jazz
pleasant.
is kind of like
But
Yeah.
now I'm
to
an
relax
adult.
to almost. Well, it's like to get you in a zone. It's like a temperature. Or
I don't.
something.
Now I'm an adult.
It's
I can say it.
pre-bang. It's pre-bang.
Yeah,
Pre-bang?
they
Yeah.
didn't do bang back then.
No,
There's
no,
some
no.
bangers. There's some-
Oh, pre-fuck.
No, I'm saying it's
Pre-fuck.
pre-shag music.
I
It's
just
like-
listen.
I
I
like that.
It's
jazz.
sexual.
I don't really like it,
right.
and I'm ready to admit it.
Totally. That's
Well, I'm
fine.
gonna go upstairs and look at my Prince records and find
and
out
learn
what
a
all the
single
songs-
song name. Yeah.
No,
okay.
all right.
Uh,
I just said "Dirty Mind" and you said that is a banger. That's not.
I actually don't know that song.
Thank you.
Is that a deep cut? Is
It's
that
the
an
name of the
especially-
I don't
album,
know
but
that- I don't know.
I think
Oh,
that
it's
is
the
a
name of-
song.
I mean, you could say anything right now.
there's a
But-
song that they play sometimes on New Year's Eve by Prince. It's a very deep cut that not a lot of people know.
Like
but
Party Like It's 1999.
Oh, you know the one. You know that one.
Unbelievably, I do.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, you guys can go get
That's a really. All right, let's
But
play another
truly,
secret.
Prince, we love you. Sorry it ended bad.
Well, I mean, it just
Glad
ended.
everyone got to see that. And I never even saw him.
Did it end bad? He just died.
We were listening to it
He
this
died.
weekend, and
I,
it was so good.
I met him briefly towards the end
Did
of his
you?
life. Yeah, yeah.
Am I taller than him?
Huh?
Am I taller than him?
I'd say you're about the same.
Did he try to seduce you? I've heard he did that. Just like seduce every
Seduce
single.
her?
Yeah, every woman that he ever
Her
talked
eyes
to.
just lit up.
He likes. He likes a taller brown woman. I would say that he has an appreciation for a taller brown woman.
I once heard that there was, and this seems like a fake story, but also like it could be totally true, that there was a woman who had made it through all the rounds of like working at Paisley Park. Like she was at the top, the
Right.
last interview. And I mean, this probably isn't true, but I want it to be true.
Yeah.
So she walked into the office and it was Prince's office and he turned around and he's like, well, we're ready to hire you. Sleep with me. Like the final interview was just like,
Oh, that's really intense.
You
no,
fuck Prince.
Look, you get put through a very intense boot camp, basically. to
like that guy's
begin-
like Carlo's mom.
Yeah, it's really like I've really never experienced anything like it. Where
Wait, did you? What do you mean?
I didn't have sex with
No, I know you
Prince.
didn't have sex, but did
Okay.
you work for
no,
the?
No, so this okay, I don't think I've ever said this publicly.
Yes, yes.
But and he was very nice. But my manager got a call. Oh God, this is like 2012, 2013. My manager in London got a call saying, this isn't fake, but Prince has reached out and he wants to meet you. And I was like, that's not possible.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is not like, this is,
Call this burying
And
the
I-
lead. You're like, I'm not a big fan of his music. I did go to Zurich with him for 2 weeks.
No. And like I said, I still admire him. I'm just like not like, oh, I can't wait to listen to a Prince song when I get in the car. That's all. Like,
So did
he's
you
very
go?
talented. So no. So it takes a while, right? So he calls and he explains that he's been watching a lot of me on YouTube and likes my vibe basically.
What do you
and
think
would
he's
like
watching
to
specifically?
Meet me. Well, I mean, it's just videos of me presenting,
press?
just
Oh, okay.
hosting. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just hosting. So he liked the way that I looked, I guess, and was. And so he asked if he could meet me. And my manager, I was like, I don't really know what to do with this. You know, I don't think that I'm the right person to meet him. I don't have any desires to you know.
This is how Brad Pitt met Angelina. Or, you know, like
Yeah. So she was like, he's coming to England and he's going to be doing concerts and I want a ticket to one of those concerts. So she was like, I'm fucking serious. You meet that man. She's not like you sleep with that man, but she's like, I think this is amazing. And I think you should, it's like a life experience. You should definitely like just take the call, just see what happens. She was like, I need the gossip. I'm a huge Prince fan. I just need to know what happens. So I was like, all right, I'll take the call. So then and he's done this, by the way, to loads of people, but his team reach out and they're like, tomorrow we're going to call at 11:30.
Tequila, tequila. So, it's me, Prince.
Yeah. So you get
not
like
tall enough.
So you hear that like, okay, at 11:30 p.m. tomorrow he's going to call. But then you get a call in the morning, just like a text from his team being like, he's going to call you at 11:30, and you're like, okay. And then he's going to call you at 1:30. You're like, all right. It's like, no, sorry. They call you at 11. They call you in the morning saying he's going to call you at 11:30 tonight. Right. You're like, fine. And then the afternoon they call you and they're like, he's going to call you at 11:30 tonight. And you're like, I know, because you already told me. And then they call you in the late afternoon. They're like, he's going to call you at 11:30 p.m. Make sure you pick up your phone. And I was like, I fucking know. And then in the evening they call you and they're like, just making sure that you are remembering to pick up your phone when it calls. It's going to be no number. And it's like, this is now my 5th fucking phone call that he's going to call 11:30. And then at 11:29 they're like, Prince has emailed you. And I get an email that just says, it's me, ... That's all it said.
No. Was it prince@prince.com?
I can't remember what his email address, but it wasn't far off. So he said to me,
I'm coming back to your side, you guys. I think it kind of sucks.
No. It's me, ... And then 11:30 on the dot, the phone rings. And we pick up the phone and we have the strangest conversation.
How could it be good?
It was an extraordinary experience, but he was just being very familiar with me and telling me all the different videos of mine that he'd watched and what he thought about them. No, it was very sweet. He was very sweet. But I think he just sounded a little bit lonesome or something. And then, but then the conversation took a sudden turn, but not in the Weinstein-y way. There was something. I don't know. I sense quite an innocence in him. I could be wrong. I don't know him. But he then was like, I really want to play. Oh God, what is it? Alexandra Palace. He was like, and I was like, oh, Alexandra Palace is an amazing venue. I'm sure that people would love to see you at Alexandra Palace. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I'd want like 2,000 people to be there. And I was like, sounds like a wonderful number. I'm just trying to.
Sure.
I'm just trying to be.
He needs a wife.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening. I'm 26 or something. So I'm just doing my best to be like. He was like, and I'd want everyone to be wearing purple. And I was like, I'm sure people could all find something purple to wear. That sounds like that would be an amazing spectacle, And having done my Where's Wally gig, I was obviously familiar with what it looks like when the whole audience is dressed the same. But in England, it's Wally. So then he was like, yeah, and I'd want only female dancers backstage. And I was like,
okay.
Well, that is your preference. Maybe that makes you feel safer. It's like, yeah, and I think I want people to be on roller skates backstage. And I was like, well, dancers are very agile, so I think that they would probably love that. I was like, it's much more efficient. And he goes, okay, great. So if you could organise all that for me, I'll call you back tomorrow and see where you're at. And then hangs up the phone.
Stop it.
So then I call my boyfriend at the time, and I'm like, because he's been waiting all day. He's been with me for all the lead up calls, but he's not with me for when the actual call happens. And so he was like, how the fuck did it go? And I was like, I think I have a job. I was like, I have to call the biggest venue in England and organise a Prince next week for Prince, but I'm not allowed to tell them it's for Prince because all these gigs were surprise. I was like, how am I going to? And I genuinely thought, my nervous system believed that it is now my job that for this total fucking stranger to organise a 2,000 person gig last minute at the biggest, most booked up venue in almost the world.
So
and everyone has to come wearing purple and there can be only female dancers. I know exactly 0 female dancers.
He's just on drugs.
It's just like, and so after that we just sort of became like pen pals, and he called me. He was very disappointed the next day that I had not arranged it, and I was like, listen man, I was like, I'm not really a promoter, I'm more of an entertainer, that I can give you the numbers of people. And then he started to just veer off into conversations, and so this turned into like this weird phone courtship that then just fizzled out in a way that I don't want to be indiscreet about a dead man, but it just it got a little weird, and then it ended, but not in a creepy pervy way. He got a bit strange.
I have a very similar story. Very similar story. I won't bother you with it, but it's
Jamila, can we just like hear your stories on
I
every
know.
person?
No, but this is the worst. This is like so Tahani. This is exactly the sort of thing that people think that I'm like. People think I'm like my character in real life, and I've been like, well, this one time, my good friend Prince. But it's just, it was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me. I was 26. I didn't know what to do. But he was ultimately kind, just a little under socialized.
Yeah,
Exactly. And why on earth?
Because when you live in a castle at the top of the
a
world,
purple castle.
yeah, and you've got Natasha Leggero as your biggest fan, who
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
your
yeah,
every
yeah.
song.
The pressure of
I
that.
told
How
you I'm
can
on
you
your
stay
side now.
grounded?
The pressure of that
How
is
can you
overwhelming.
stay
I'm
grounded?
still trying to think of a B-side, but I just know I like the entire album. I like the whole albums. I play them on my record player in their entirety. I don't skip songs. I just
Vinyl
feel like
only.
they work as
while you're
pieces of art.
texting and doing other stuff.
Well,
yeah.
listen, actually, my friend said that he was invited to the Grammys and they got, he was going to be sitting in Prince's row, and they got a letter saying Prince is going to be in your row and you're not allowed to make any eye contact with him for the duration
This
of
is an unrelated
the event.
person, just a random person who's not on Prince's. Why would you take an order from Prince?
But I'm
It's
just
so
saying he's
weird.
under socialized. It's like he doesn't.
He's under socialized, yeah. And I met with him one time, and he was just like, he was very shy, and just seems like it was actually really valuable to me, because I was at a young age where I was sort of still had all these possibilities of like, you know, really going for it fame wise. And I had all these opportunities, and I was like
Like to date him or something?
No. I mean, yes, but no. But I mean, more like in my own career by myself, of like, you know, when you're 26 and you're doing well, which I was, everyone's offering you the world at that point. And I think that was like a very instrumental, like foreboding tale for me to be like,
I don't
this
wanna
is
be
what,
that famous.
this is what, not that I'm ever could be that famous and I have no talent, but I'm just saying that the extreme success looked really lonesome, and
Right.
it looked like it makes you not able to talk to everyone.
No, it's
you
a
know.
dark window into the best case scenario.
And now
You're
I'm
like,
able to like lower myself to speak to people like
Yes,
you know,
and
like
we
I'm
appreciate
still
that.
humble.
We appreciate
I'm
that
still
so much.
grounded,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm in touch with the peeps.
Right.
And I couldn't have had that if I had fulfilled my Prince-like potential.
Well, Jameela, thank you for that.
And
Thank
did you tell Prince what you thought of his music?
I did not ever do that.
And
Oh my God, and he hated swearing.
I
He
believe
wouldn't
that.
let me
Jehovah's
swear, and I
Witness.
swear all the time. Is he a
Jehovah's
Jehovah's
Witness?
Witness?
Yes,
So
that was
I swear all the time,
I love
constantly,
a
especially
slut.
when I'm nervous. Did you say you love a slut?
I love a slutty Jehovah's
Okay,
Witness. Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
better than a womanizing Jehovah's Witness.
But I swear he'd sworn in his music before.
Yeah.
But he was like, he said something very specific to me that I never forgot, where the first conversation we had, he was like, he said it very gently. He was like, please don't swear. It makes the paint peel off the walls.
Oh my God.
Ew, he's like Willy Wonka.
What does
He
that mean?
is like
like-
Willy Wonka.
It was a
Yeah.
little Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
It
but
was a tiny bit.
He's
But
literally Gene Wilder
No,
in.
but
It was very like, it was like having a magical pixie fairy genius
Yeah.
on the phone.
He's Willy Wonka, but it's pussy, not chocolate.
And wasn't he on like what's that really
Let
strong
that
fentanyl?
sentence alone be clipped, and then everyone has to find out who we're talking about.
He's got like a river in Paisley Park. He's like, this is all pussy juice.
You know what? One thing that I'm obsessed with Prince for
Yes.
is I've only recently gone down like Prince TikTok of his interviews and what a savage he was in his interviews, and that to me is like, I was like, oh, he's
suffered no fools.
For that, I'm like, you're a fucking boss.
Kind of sneers at people.
Oh,
he
he was
knows he's better.
unreal in interviews. I'm obsessed with his
I've
interviews.
gotta look them up.
Oh, they're incredible. The
I love
shade,
snobby
the shade
interviewers.
that he throws. It's not just snobby. It's like articulate precision strikes. He's like one of the best around. He's like up there with Mariah and Naomi Campbell. Do
You know
what
who's
I mean?
rude too? I like Diana Ross is funny. She's just like very like just says
love
whatever
her.
she wants. Morrissey was very rude. to
Frank
me.
Zappa.
Madonna was very good at an interview when she was younger. It's like just like. So
I love
master
that.
of
I sort of feel like that's. I guess Tyler the Creator kind of does it, but that era is kind of done because people are so media savvy now. The era of the like unbelievably rude, like fuck off to every single person interviewing.
No,
these
everyone's
celebrities.
like, I loved it. It
Oh,
was
it's the
amazing.
best.
But he wasn't being mean to the interviewers. He
Right,
was
he's
being mean
just-
about other celebrities,
I like it.
which I think is fine.
Yeah, I don't see how
Well,
we top the Prince
Yeah,
secret.
Jamila.
I think we can end it
we've
here.
talked to
I'll
you
leave.
for so long.
No, you can stay.
And
You want to stay? You stay. We
I
love
feel
you
like
here.
your next-
My stories?
Well, really, what it is we love your story so much. We would like to hire you.
Great.
We've got a production job. There's a convention happening in downtown LA. It's
Great.
it's a bunch of key grips, and it's gripmeet.com. And we think you'd be the perfect person to arrange that gig
Thank you.
and
I
DJ
accept.
it and DJ.
I accept. Do I get this job via that that app you told me about.
Prince's people are going to call.
Yeah.
The people from
At
Viking
11:30
River,
p.m.
to be
tomorrow
honest,
night.
It would not be a big reveal if you found out that Prince was the principal owner of Viking River Cruises. I don't think anybody would be surprised. It would make a lot of sense.
No, it's like he's like sexy Puck.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
He is like Puck.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jameela, you are amazing. You have so much going for you.
Yes. Yeah. Keep talking.
I don't have that much going for me.
You do. You're gorgeous. You're sophisticated.
You're smart. You're funny.
You're smart. You're funny.
Oh, okay.
What more do you want? What more do you
love
want
your
out of life?
husband, partner, boyfriend.
Yeah, we're not going to get married.
And I'm sorry if
you have to get married and have children. Oh, you have to do it.
I'm so
Do you want to come back on my podcast and tell me that for half an hour?
Yes, please.
I feel like I don't even remember that. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I don't remember hardcore trying to indoctrinate you.
It tracks, though.
Fine. It's fine.
It does track.
It sounds like it's habitual.
We have loved having you on this podcast.
I adore you both so much.
We adore
I think
you.
you're both so funny, and I love this podcast. And it is honestly, it's a great honor to be here.
Our honor to have you.
All right. Bye-bye.
I've been sweating the whole time.